Sapph Out Loud. Brian Sapph, that is me. I'm your host. I'm back. You back, we back. Thank you so much for tuning in once again to another episode of the Sapph Out Loud podcast. This is my little piece, my little corner on the internet where I blurt out about whatever it is I'm interested in at the moment. Some of you may be wondering, oh my goodness, why another episode so soon? You just put out your review for Drake and Party Next Door's Some Sexy Songs for You, where you went over all of the problems with the album and digested the songs dissected the songs track by track. So I'm back so soon for two reasons. One, I'm going to be traveling soon. Yeah. Tail end of next week into the beginning of the week after. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going up to North Carolina, to experience for my very first time Carowinds, which is an amazing theme park that literally sits on the state line between North Carolina and South Carolina. I'm excited about that. Some amazing roller coasters there. Can't wait. Also, which is probably the main reason for the trip, Dreamville Festival is happening again, and I'm going again. Yes, J. Cole's annual music festival in Raleigh, North Carolina is taking place again. This is supposed to be the fifth and final one, so I'm expecting an amazing event. I had to go. I think I've been to 3 out of the 5. I'm pretty sure I've been to 3 out of the 5. Maybe 4 out of the 5. No, I can't necessarily remember. I'm gonna go with 3 though. I know. Well, no, this will be my third time. Let's go with. I've been to 2 so far. Going back for a third time. Maybe I went 3 times. I don't remember. Either way, if you know, you know. I've been listening, or if you've been listening to this podcast for quite some time, do you know, I fuck with music festivals heavy, especially Dreamville is always a dope time. So I said, you know what, since Cole is, shutting Dreamville down, or the Dreamville Festival after this particular year, I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna go and see how it goes out. Hopefully it's with a bang. I don't know, not the set list, the artist list, what would you call it? Yeah, the list of artists, the lineup, that's what they used to call it. The lineup would suggest that it's going to be a pretty dope year. It sounds like, or it looks like there may be room for some surprises from this guy right here that you might hear in the background. Other than that, we got Erykah Badu on the lineup. Really excited about seeing her. Never seen her live before, ever. Really excited about that. Lil Wayne and the Hot Boys and the Big Timers, which I just saw them recently in Tampa, I think like a month ago, but definitely down to see them again. The show was fantastic, and I love nostalgia, so I'm down for that. And I don't know, we got a bunch of people on the lineup. Obviously J. Cole is going to perform and stuff like that. Hopefully he gets some new music out before the show. I mean, Clouds is out, but where's the album, Cole? Either way, this is not about that. I'll say all that to say that is reason number 1 that I'm recording another episode and releasing it so soon after just putting one out. Reason number 2 is after today. So reason number 1, the traveling. I don't know what I'm going to feel like once I get back, if I'm going to want to record or not. Reason number 2, today, March 27th, Nintendo did a direct, and I was like, oh yeah, there's some good shit on here. I gotta talk about it. So I'm not even gonna play no music. I feel like I've already wasted enough of your time talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the title of this episode. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and jump straight into, my reaction or my thoughts and opinions to the Nintendo Direct, only really covering what caught my eye. The Nintendo Direct was a little bit over 30 minutes. They talked about a number of things. These are what caught my attention. Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the HD 2D remake. Reason this caught my attention is because I've always wanted to play Dragon Quest, but I've never gotten into it. If I'm not mistaken, there's another Dragon Quest game either that just came out, is about to come out, has been announced. It don't have a release date. I don't know. I feel like Dragon Quest 3 or 4, whatever number they on, is about to pop out. So I figured I might as well get into Dragon Quest now that they're doing this HD 2D remake, and it's going to include both 1 and 2. Pretty sure it's going to be a fair price, and I'm excited. I'm interested. So Dragon Quest, purely because I've always wanted to play that game and I wanted to get into it. Metroid Prime 4, I forgot what the subtitle name for it was, and I did not write it down. I'm a terrible podcaster. Metroid Prime 4, that game looks dope. That's another one. I've always wanted to play Metroid. I played maybe like an hour of Metroid before on the GameCube. I was one of those kids that was like, oh, I have a PlayStation at home, and then my cousins got Nintendo stuff. GameCube is the one. So when I'm home, I'm playing PlayStation. When they come over, we playing PlayStation. But when I go over there, we on the GameCube. They had Metroid before. I played it a little bit. It's dope. But never really had an opportunity to get into it like that. I know they've done a couple remakes or re-released Metroid Prime before. It's available on the Switch currently. But this new game, Metroid Prime 4, which I think it's just a brand new game. I'm pretty sure it's not a remake or a remaster, no shit like that. It's coming out, and I'm excited about it. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna finally go ahead and play me some Metroid. Next game that caught my attention, or the next announcement that caught my attention, was Pokemon ZA, or is it AZ? What the fuck is the name of the Pokemon game? I think it's Pokemon ZA. Either way, I'm excited for this strictly because the first game that came out, it's Pokemon ZA. The first game that came out, or I guess it would be called the first game in this, I guess mainline. I don't know. It's weird now because now that Ash has retired from the actual anime, and they've never really had a protagonist through and through that just carries over from game to game since, I don't know, never. You always get the name and create your own. Well, not create your own, but you always get the name your own and start a new story. Either way, what I'm saying is, I'm not sure if Pokemon Arceus and Pokemon ZA are, considered to be like mainline games in the Pokemon franchise. But I want to get back into mainline Pokemon games, or the catching monsters and battling type Pokemon games, because I haven't played in a while, but I found great enjoyment in Pokemon Go, as well as Pokemon Stadium is fire. That's goated. But what's the other game on Nintendo Switch that's like a MOBA? Pokemon Unite. I found great enjoyment playing those two games, right? It got me to the point where I was missing like catching, battling, trading Pokemon in a regular game. The last game that I played was Pokemon Sword. I didn't finish it because I was having a hard time grappling with the fact that the Pokemon in that game are not greatly designed. Like, there's a lot of Pokemon that look like just throwaway. Like, why is there ice cream cone as a Pokemon in the game? Like, the Pokemon themselves, like, they were not enticing me to catch them, to own them, to train them, to battle with them, to evolve them. Like, they just, I don't know, the aesthetic of that game I wasn't fucking with it. So I never finished Pokemon Sword. However, Pokemon Arceus looked to be, interesting, but something about it didn't quite grab me. This ZA, especially after watching this Nintendo Direct where they kind of explained a little bit more about the game, I was like, okay, this might be the one where I want to jump in at. Outside of that, I'm a little nervous about it because I don't know what's going to happen. I thought Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee were going to be like how they moved the mainline franchise games forward, and they kind of did. They took a lot of the gameplay and aesthetic of those games and, you know, transitioned them over to like Sword and Shield and all the other games that have followed Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. However, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are literally just like standalone Pokemon games in the franchise that didn't have a continuation, even though they showed great promise for that. So I'm like, I don't want to get into another Pokemon game and then they not like flesh it out. Like it just be another game that has maybe 1 or 2 DLC and that's it. The story doesn't continue because Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee took place in Kanto, so I'm expecting, or I was hoping, that the next game or a major DLC update would take us over into the Johto region and so forth and so on, like just continue the same way Ash did in the fucking anime. But they didn't do that for some reason, so I don't know really what to think. I don't know if Pokemon ZA is going to be another like dead end Pokemon game, but then I look at Pokemon Arceus, which is supposed to be the one that precedes it, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's gonna be some more shit there, right? So I'm interested to jump in. The gameplay footage that they show on this particular Nintendo Direct for the game, it looked dope. It looked cool. I noticed some very noticeable changes from the gameplay in ZA versus in Pokemon Arceus. So I'm like, okay, I might give this a try. So that caught my attention. I'm excited for that. And then the game that caught my attention the most, this motherfucking Marvel Cosmic Invasion game, I'm definitely getting that. I really don't, you know, if anything, that game in particular, when it comes out, I'm definitely going to be buying it, which is crazy because I have, well, you know what? I was just about to lie. I was just going to say I have not bought a new Switch game in a while, but that's not true. I just bought Overcooked. That's what it was. But not anything new, like brand new that's come out for the Nintendo Switch specifically, right? So when I saw this trailer for Marvel Cosmic Invasion, I was like, oh yeah, this is the one. This is the next game that I'm going to get specifically for me to enjoy. It looks dope. It's a side scroller, not unlike the arcade games that you maybe used to playing in, like, you know, arcades. If you are 90s or 2000s or even the 80s, baby. Or shit, even the 70s, baby. Arcade's been around for a long time. I first got into like arcade games. You know what? That's another story for another time. Either way, it's not unlike those classic arcade games, those side scrolls like X-Men and Ninja Turtles that had very, very popular ones. And it's from the same studio that just put out the Shredder's Revenge game, which is, I guess, a continuation of the Ninja Turtle arcade game. I don't know. They on a roll. Whatever the studio is, I can't remember the name right now, but they on a roll, and I'm happy about it. So when Marvel Cosmic Invasion comes out, I'm going to be playing, and I'll probably be talking about it on the podcast. I like that you get at least 2 X-Men characters per person playing. You can have up to 4 players playing the game at one time. I'm not sure if it's gonna have like online capability to do that, but I definitely saw that it was like local play. And then each person, like I said, you get at least 2 characters. Based on the trailer, what we getting? Storm. Y'all saw it. I'm pretty sure y'all saw it. If y'all listen to this, y'all saw it. So y'all saw Storm, y'all saw Wolverine, y'all saw Nova, but that was weird to see him in a game, but not weird in a bad way, just like, oh wow, I didn't expect them to choose that character. Because I don't even think Nova is in, oh wait, no, he is in Strike Force. What X-Men game just came out recently? I don't know, you just don't see Nova incorporated too much in any like Marvel game. So it's dope to see that. Who else did I see in there? Y'all tell me. Either way, the game looked fire. I'm fucking with it. Can't wait to get it. What else? Oh, that Tamagotchi game, which looked like Sims, Animal Crossing, and Nintendo Me like had a love child. That game is probably gonna have the same effect that Animal Crossing New Horizons did when it first came out. So I'm gonna probably be on that. I have a feeling it's going to be free to play just because it involves you using your Nintendo Mii's to play. But we'll see. Nintendo is also very, very much sticklers about free to play games. They will charge you if they can. So I ain't going to hold my breath on that. But that one looked kind of dope. And then some features that they announced, some upcoming like new things that they're, doing, which is crazy that after all of this time, Nintendo Switch is over a decade old at this point. Like, it's been 10 plus years since the first iteration of Nintendo Switch came out, which means the software and hardware, not software, but the hardware in there is maybe 2 years older than the release date of the actual Nintendo Switch. So, and it's crazy. I'm saying that because I just find it to be crazy that after all this time, Nintendo is still cranking out like very much viable, very much well received, very much needed like quality of life improvements for the Nintendo Switch, especially when the Nintendo Switch 2 like coming out any day now. Like, I think it's really dope, and it should be studied. How much time, attention, and effort they're putting into making sure the Nintendo Switch is like a console that will never die unless they decide to kill it, which Nintendo Switch 2. But the virtual game cards, I think that is a very, very dope feature. I think it might be a little late in the game for Nintendo Switch, but I can see why they're rolling it out now, because I think this particular feature, outside of everything that they described in the video, which you should know if you're listening to this direct, but if you didn't watch the Nintendo Direct or didn't watch the specific video dedicated towards explaining the virtual game cards, you basically, when you download a digital game, it's going to show up in your Switch as a virtual game card that's supposed to mimic the physical game cards that you can buy and swap out of your Switches or whatever, right? So with that, you'll be able to store and transfer games between two Nintendo Switches, which light bulb there. I think they did that on purpose because they know people are going to want to move their Nintendo Switch games over to the Nintendo Switch 2 that are compatible. I think they know people are going to want to move those games and transfer them over to the Nintendo Switch 2, and then keep some just on the regular Nintendo Switch that they might not play very often, or maybe geared more towards families play. Because that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep my Nintendo Switch 1, and when I get Nintendo Switch 2, I'm going to have that. And all my like solo player games and stuff, I'm going to probably put those on my Nintendo Switch 2. And then all of like my family and friend games that I can play with people, I'm going to keep those on my regular Nintendo and just, have two separate systems and whatever the case may be. And then I also keep my storage in check on Nintendo Switch 2. But I think it's a dope feature to have, that you can just, move games back and forth like that with these digital cards. But then on the other side of things, if you have a Nintendo account that has like the family pass on it or whatever, that family tier, whatever, then you can loan for up to 2 weeks a game using this virtual game card thing. Just send it to, I don't know, your brother or whatever. Excuse me if you can hear that. Send it to your brother or whatever, and he could play in his room, and then 2 weeks later the game comes back to you. Obviously they'll be like, oh, have your brother send you that game again if you want to continue playing, little brother, or tell mom and dad to just buy it for you. Something like that. I just think it's dope. One person buys a game and you can pretty much give the game to somebody for 2 weeks, and then after the 2 weeks expires, the game come back to you, and whatever happens with them, but you get your shit back and it's not a problem. I just think it's dope. I think it's a very, very nifty feature, and like I said, I think it'll make transferring games from Nintendo Switch 1 over to Nintendo Switch 2 very seamless and very much in a way that makes sense. Last thing, or the second to last thing, Nintendo Today, which is supposed to be a dedicated Nintendo news app and calendar. I'm going to be downloading this app when it comes out. It may be out already, knowing Nintendo. They like to do that. Oh, available now. Like, so why you? But I just think it's dope. I'm a big fan of Nintendo. I tend to keep up with their news just with my news app on my iPhone. But a lot of that stuff is articles and think pieces. Some of it, is actual Nintendo news, but it's a complete news aggregate. So anything Nintendo related, whether it's, like I said, opinions and thought pieces, it's on there. This particular app, on the other hand, will just be dedicated towards official Nintendo news. And then there's a calendar on there. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is when they announce a game that is about to come out, it'll just show up on the Nintendo calendar and remind you if you decide to click some kind of button to let you know that it's out. I don't know. I just see a bunch of stuff with that, and I think it's dope. I have the PlayStation app. It doesn't quite have a calendar on it, but it does produce a lot of like PlayStation news. So I kind of have an understanding of what's going to happen with this Nintendo Today app, and I'm just excited for it. Keeping up with Nintendo is dope to me. But the most important thing that they announced on this particular Nintendo Direct is the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct release date, which the Nintendo Direct dedicated specifically to giving us more information on the Nintendo Switch 2 is set for April 2nd. That'll be at least a day or two before I head out on my next adventure to North Carolina for Carowinds in Dreamville. So I may get back on here and talk to y'all about it real quick, just because I'm really, really excited for the Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm anticipating whatever it is they're gonna reveal or announce in this direct dedicated to the Nintendo Switch 2. But if nothing like really is said that I'm like, oh yeah, I need to jump on the podcast real quick and let this out, to get my thoughts and opinions out, then I'll just talk to y'all about it when I get back. Either way, I think the Nintendo Direct was pretty solid. Nintendo Directs usually are pretty solid. They always are showcasing and announcing games that I'm interested in. Nintendo has an amazing brand. The longevity of this company at the level that they've been doing it for so long is incredible. Like I said, this shit need to be studied. But that was pretty much the Nintendo Direct, well, at least the stuff that caught my eye. There was a bunch of other games, well, not a bunch, but there's some other games that they announced, like, what is it? Life something. Obviously, I ain't really care too much about those games. But, Tamagotchi is putting a game out, which semi-excited about that, but not necessarily. And then the Disney villains have some kind of cafe food game, which I actually might be interested in after I watch some like better gameplay and see what it's really talking about. What else did they announce? There's a bunch of stuff that they announced, but that's the stuff that really caught my attention. So with that being said, that's it. I ain't really come here to like have a full like episode powwowing about video games. I'll do that with y'all another time. I just wanted to get on here and get my reactions on the Nintendo Direct that happened today on March 27th, 2025, and get out y'all way. So that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Sapph Out Loud. Again, I appreciate you for being here. If you're interested in following me, seeing what I end up getting into going up to North Carolina, I already told you I'm going to the Carowinds theme park, and then I'm doing Dreamville Festival. But like Dreamville Festival is 2 days, and then there's gonna be some food in the mix that I've never had before, and I've never been to Carowinds before, so I'm gonna be flicking it up and videotaping and all kind of recording video and shit. Like, it's gonna be a good time. So if you're interested in following me, I am BrianSapph on Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, which I've been a little bit more active on posting TikTok content, so that's dope. Check me out over there. What else I be on? Mostly them 3 apps. I don't really give a fuck about nothing else like that. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one.